Hello everyone and welcome to the next in our series of daily origami for YouTube. Today we're going to continue with our theme of looking at some traditional projects, and today we're going to make a special kind of basket. It's called like a fancy basket or something like that sometimes, but I believe it is Chinese in origin. It's a really beautiful basket, really gorgeous. You can use it in so many ways, and for this particular origami project you do need square paper. You need 3 sheets of paper. I'm going to be using paper that's 15 by 15 centimeters, and you need each of your pieces of paper to be the same size. 2 are going to be used for the base of the basket, and the third will be for the handle. So if you wanted to make the handle a different color, or even the extra piece a different color, you can do that too. You get this kind of floral design, and you can alternate colors of the floral design by using a different color of paper if you wanted to. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this with those colors though, and with a solid color, but that can kind of give you an idea of how things might look. So you have to have scissors. I'll tell you now. You need scissors, okay? And that's just to separate the piece and make it more elaborate later. So if you don't like scissors, too bad. But we'll go ahead and make the folds here. What we're going to be doing is doing a series of steps that you will need to duplicate up to a point, and then extra things will change later on through that. So I'll show you guys once the process of folding it, and then just let you guys know that you do need to repeat it so you can have 2. So we're going to start off here by folding with our color side facing down. I'm going to make some diagonal creases. We're just going to do some preliminary creases so that the next step can be a little easier. We're going to make a big diagonal crease here and going the other way. And then I'm also going to go ahead and fold my paper in half, both vertically and horizontally. And you don't want to turn your paper over when you do this. Keep it all on the white side. This will give us the creases we need for the next step. Get all that done, and then I'm going to add just another set of creases by taking each of my 4 sides and folding in to the center, straight across. And if you do both sides, 1 and then 1, you're doing what's called a door base by bringing both opposite sides in towards the center. Open it up, and we'll do the other way too. And these are just all preliminary creases to get this whole part folded over the way we need it to be. Once you've gotten all of those creases in your paper, flip it over. We're going to take each of the 4 corners and fold into the center. Go around and do that for all 4 sides. Open it up and bring it back to the white side. Now we're going to use the creases we've made to just let this collapse down, and we're going to focus on this central square that we have here. If I look at it like a diamond and I fold up my 2 sides, as I bring everything in, you'll notice that these parts that I've got these creases for are there, and it allows everything to kind of fold in, and if you put a little pressure on that part that's sticking up, you can push that down to create a nice little diamond or square on the corner. We're just going to turn around and do that for all 4 sides. We'll get this second one done here, push it down, and then this last side you can do 2 sides at once, push down right here in the middle, and then just get each of these to smush down, and you should get something that looks like this. Now if you want, you can go ahead and turn it over and just give it a good smush so that everything stays nice and flat and doesn't pop up on you. Now what we're going to do is for each of these 4 parts, I'm going to do a series of creases. I'm going to start off first by folding straight up, getting a crease that goes right through the center of everything I've made. Then I'm going to take and fold up, and this is a part where you can choose how far you want. You can choose how thick you want this band to be. I'm just going to kind of guess it here a little bit. And then I'm going to roll up on that center crease that I made so that you get something that looks like this. And I'm going to go around and do that for all 4 sides. So we're just going to be folding up. And you want to try to mimic, of course, how much space you gave yourself there so that all 4 of these look pretty similar. And you want to make sure that things don't shift up too much when you fold up on that center crease. You want to keep things kind of down. And it can be a little hard to do this in the sense that the other sides are sometimes a little in your way. Just take care that you don't accidentally tear the crease on any of that when you're working. We'll go around and get all 4 sides to look the same here as we get all these parts rolled up. So you get a shape that looks like this. Now this is as far as we go to make this shape. Now you want to go back and do the exact same thing again so that we get 2 of these. So once you've got 2 of these made, we want to put one to the side for a second, and we're just going to focus on this one. We're going to do an extra set of creases for this. What I'm going to do for each one of these 4 sides is we're going to start off by just folding over one of these flaps, and I want to take and fold this bottom edge. If you're looking the edge that goes towards the center, I'm going to fold that so that I can get it to go to the center. And you don't need it to go too tight to the center, because what we're going to do is, of course, open this back up again. So you just kind of fold it towards the center a little so that when you open it back out again, you get this nice smooth edge on the side. And I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side too. You can just kind of gently push it over a little bit here as we get this part secured back here. And then return it out, and you should get this nice narrow section here with this little like petal there on the side. And I'm just going to repeat that step for the remaining 3 sides. So I'm just folding the flap over for a second so that I can get this part to tuck behind and get it smoothed out, so you get a good point in the middle there. And you can work, upside down. Either way works good for how you're doing stuff, but you want to just get both of those sides so that you get this nice narrow kind of point going towards the center. I'll just go around and do all 4 of these. So when you're finished, you should have something that looks like this. And that's sort of the finished part of this first piece. So you've got the narrow fold and this wider part. Now, what we want to do is take the one that's still like wide like this, and we're going to take our scissors. This is where you need scissors. And we're going to cut this into 4ths. So I'm just cutting this piece into 4 little tiny pieces. In theory, you probably could fold each of these pieces. If you took a regular size piece of paper and you cut it into 4ths first, you could then do each of these folds successfully for each part. And maybe then some purists wouldn't complain that that's using scissors and it's not allowed and blah, 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 which is always, yeah, whatever you want to think about that. But this is obviously a lot easier. You do the folding first and then you just cut it. And you're just going to keep right in the middle there. Cut stuff in half, and cut in half here too. And if you happen to get a little sliver of paper with you when you cut it, that's fine. You can just throw that out so it's not in the way. But you want to get both of these sides cut so that we get 4 little tiny pieces here that we're going to use then to make this little floral design that much more decorative. We're going to take one of these and just slide it right in here. There's no corners or pockets or anything. It's just all of it as a piece right in here. Keep your center lined up so it goes right into the center of everything with the design. And then we're just going to use folds to secure everything. You don't need any glue. Just take this whole section. Now this is really thick with all these layers of paper. We're going to fold up to these sides that you can see here. Get a really good crease going on that. And I'm going to take that excess tip and we're going to fold it, tuck it right into that pocket. You can kind of curve it a little and then just slide it in so it gets secured. So you've successfully locked that piece now into our design. And I just go around and do that for these other 3 sides, getting this piece locked in. Try to make sure you get your paper curved so you can get a really good crease going here. And then tuck that excess right into that pocket. It should just slide right in there. And you can see here where if I had used a different color than this blue, I'd have alternating colors here for my basket. I could have like two different colors for the flower part too. That's just sort of a point of preference. And then the last one here. So now we've got this cool little design with all 4 of those little pieces that we cut from before tucked into our design. Now before we do anything further, I'm going to take my last piece of paper. We're going to fold this to make our handle. Now you could certainly play around with how thick you want your handle to be. Where it's going to slide into is right into this little part, those little extra pockets we made right into here. So you do want to kind of consider that when you're making your handle so that you don't make it too fat so that it won't fit into one of those sections. You don't want it to be wider than this space. I think one of the, the easiest things, unless you want to make it thinner than this, is to just take your paper, fold it in half. I'm just going to fold it into eighths. So I'm going to fold it in half again, and fold it in half again. Open it up, and I like to just take everything, fold it in half towards the center, make sure the crease is going the right way. You might need to reverse things on one side, and then fold in half again towards the center, and then turn it around to the other side too here. That needs to be reversed. And you could make these creases now or like I did all at once in the beginning. It's kind of up to you. And then just at the end, fold it all in half, and that way you don't have any part that's sticking out as a raw edge necessarily. You could also just, do a random kind of rolling of the whole thing. It's up to you of how you want to do stuff. But once you get this going, you want to just start creating a little bit of a crease, not a crease I should say. We're just going to start curving it and keeping the paper together as you go. If you're doing a project, you might want to put some glue right here to keep this from opening. It's up to you. But just kind of get a good curve going with this so that it rolls around and gives a nice little effect of a handle. Now, we're going to take this and flip it over, and we're going to poof out the bottom to create the base of our basket. Now, you have the freedom within this square to make the point of how deep the basket is up to you. The easiest and most logical space to choose is the crease you almost already have started here, which comes from when we folded this part over. So I'm just going to take each of these sides and kind of fold up right on that point. Now, if you wanted to, you could make the crease a little higher up and you'd have a little narrower, not a little more shallow, I should say, a little more shallow basket. That's kind of up to you. But if you just kind of fold that flap up and give yourself a little crease in the inside, you can kind of mark where we're looking at. Now we're going to go ahead and pop open this area here. And if you look at one side here, that crease that I just marked is going to need to be reversed to become a mountain crease. So I can just open up until I get down to that. And I think just, starting with that as the base first, getting smushed down, and then looking at the sides, you want to open them up to these diagonal creases here until you can kind of get it to pop out. You should be able to get to a point where you get a nice edge going here that you can pinch. And I'll do this side too. And then as you pinch it down, you're going to find that point here where you can then really redefine the bottom part of the basket. And we're just going to go around and do that for all 4 of these sides. So you're just pinching open each of these sections to create a new point right here that kind of comes down to the bottom. And if you just pinch on those sides, you can really pop it open pretty easily there. Down to where you need it. So you've kind of got these creases on the sides really defined here, and then the base defined. You don't necessarily really need to define anything else. It should create a nice little pull or tug on these 4 spots and allow these sides to curl underneath a little bit. And you get this nice little basket. with a good base in here, with that square base. And then we'll take our handle, and what you could do for the handle is just slide it into one of these sides that's not curved under. Like we talked about, it's one of those sides that you added from the cutting the paper out. Just push that in, try to keep it kind of centered, push it in as far as it will go till it hits these two sides, and then just fold up against that edge. And then I could do kind of the same thing on this side. Now if you wanted to do something to make this more secure, you could use some glue, but I do think it's pretty secure on its own if you get that kind of tugged back in there and then just create that crease by pushing on it out. Then you've got your little handle on your basket. And the finished dimensions of this little guy are, I think the key really is the size of the interior, because that's the part where you're going to want to put something inside possibly. This area here is about 3.75 square, I'm going to say. And that's the dependent on, for the center part. That's dependent on, you know, again, how you folded things when you popped everything open. And the interior part here, let's see. Yeah, it's about the same. So it's actually cubed. You get a whole area here that's the same. Right in the middle there. Nice little cube of space in the middle. And about, when you look at about, you know, from side to side here, it's about 11 centimeters wide. And if you go for the handle, from the base to the top of the handle, let's say it's about 8 centimeters tall. But it makes such a pretty basket that you can use for so many things. For spring, you can fill it with flowers. You can put, you know, little bonbons or truffles inside for a wedding. Just lots of different ways you could use it. I'll probably be sharing with you guys a similar project like I did for Easter with some kind of goods that you can put inside to make this a really cute basket. So you could have a lot of fun with making this a lot taller. You can make this narrower, lots of different things you could do with it. So that gives you our finished little basket, which is our finished project for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.